Actually, this is my first time on YouTube. It's a new and unusual experience for me and the team. What we are doing right now is entirely new, but it comes straight from the heart. The response from people has been tremendous. In just 3 days, we went from 200 registrations 2 days ago to around 500 yesterday. And now, at this moment, we have over 1,600 registrations in the project. The project has been around for 8 months, and already 170 countries have joined our project. That's a fantastic result. With pride, we present to you our first product that will generate returns for our investors, DigiU Wealth. And in fact, this approach extends to our entire sphere of activity. Thanks to this, on the 2nd of December, we paid out our first dividends. That is incredibly important. Let me tell you about our venture fund. We have successfully launched this direction, and it's becoming one of the most important parts of the DigiU ecosystem. The technologies we develop within our ecosystem are applicable in all aspects of life. AVA is primarily a decentralized data transfer protocol between blockchains. What I'm most proud of is the team we've managed to build. We crystallized this idea, vision, and the word ecosystem from the very beginning. Our proud mission is to make individuals the primary beneficiaries of modern technology use. Connected with Curve. AVA will utilize and create pools directly on Curve. In essence, Curve DAO will own the contracts. We are currently in the negotiation process and finalizing our strategic partnership. One of the trends we are observing is phygital, a digital transition, essentially digitizing real-world assets. This project is linked to real estate tokenization. I've arrived in Africa. The first country was Ivory Coast, followed by Cameroon, and then Nigeria. We conducted trainings and education sessions. I was generally impressed by the level of financial literacy and cryptocurrency, blockchain, and artificial intelligence literacy. There are 3 areas we are developing that are essentially ready for funding: artificial intelligence, our own RWA bank, an entity already formed as a separate project. And the third direction is a tokenized asset marketplace. AVA, in collaboration with Curve, is creating a solution called Cross-Curve. In Novosibirsk, we held the first international investment forum of the DigiU ecosystem. Partners and investors from different countries gathered, and we summed up the company's 4 years of work. We reviewed how it all happened, discussed achievements, development principles, And what awaits the ecosystem? The quantum growth that will bring us to a new level.
Hi everyone, happy to be here.
Thank you, Idar and Webwise community for having us. We are really flattered to be here today.
Страна может пройти существенное естественно приобретение этого актива.
Dear friends, greetings to all of you. My name is Alexey Ognev, CEO of the DigiU ecosystem. Today, we are bringing you highlights from our investment forum, which lasted 4 days. During this event, we shared insights into the company's performance over the past 4.5 years and discussed recent developments over the past 6 months. We also summarized our efforts in financing RWA projects, which are evolving into full-fledged banking and marketplace ecosystems. We've recently launched our tokenized real estate marketplace into technical operation. A multitude of events has taken place during these 4 days. We've met with partners, investors, and individuals interested in our products. We've engaged with experts in real estate and cryptocurrency markets. Overall, there were a lot of activities. In this video, we'll share the outcomes of these 4 days and reflect on the extensive work we've accomplished so far. We will examine the ecosystem from a different perspective, uncovering opportunities, products, and technical solutions that are either in the pipeline or already integrated into our ecosystem. Today, our speakers include Peter Tagunov, Technical Director of all ecosystem products, Alexander E., Managing Partner of Webwise Capital Venture Fund, Head of the Tokenized Real Estate Marketplace, and Head of the Webwise Pad and Webwise Wallet projects. They will provide insights into this project, which may be surprising and inspiring for many. Additionally, we will discuss what lies ahead, including share burning and the conclusion of sales. We will delve into everything that has been our focus for the past 6 months and what will continue to unfold throughout the year. As we have said, this year has been incredibly eventful, filled with achievements that we have been building towards for the past 4 years, and they are now beginning to materialize. Let's start with a summary of 2 key areas that have been my focus over the past 6 months. After the Congress and Forum we held in Novosibirsk at the end of last year, where we announced 2 significant developments: the financing of new large RWA ecosystem projects, namely the bank and the marketplace, and the completion of the share sale process. And June 30, 2024 is the last day to purchase shares. We've been leading up to this crucial date for the past few months. Now, let's explore how the ecosystem has evolved and what lies ahead for all of us in the near future. Firstly, the completion of the share sale process, which I have emphasized at every meeting, webinar, and every post. This was to ensure our audience, especially those who've been with us since 2019, so they understood the significance of this event and its impact. We've also highlighted this for new partners and investors who joined us towards the end of 2023 and throughout 2024, so they fully grasp the stage of development they're entering and the appropriate moment they have joined the ecosystem. We will continue discussing this in this video and next ones until the share sale concludes, ensuring clarity for new partners, investors, and clients of our products. This is all done to enable everyone to align this event with their financial strategy. The completion of the share sale means you won't be able to enter the DigiU ecosystem as a new client and benefit from our products, results, dividends, and bonuses that we generously distribute based on our product performance. You will not be able to do so anymore. Therefore, be prepared for June 30 as the final date and structure your investment strategy accordingly. Make decisions regarding funding and participation in our products, knowing you have just over a month, or perhaps even less, depending on when you are watching this video. This crucial date will push our ecosystem to an entirely new level of development, new level of creation and expansion. I will delve further into this in the second part of this video. The second focus of my attention over the past 6 months has been the launch and financing of the pre-seed round for 2 fully-fledged ecosystems. We understand that RWA Bank and RWA Marketplace are not just products with a set of functions. They are complete ecosystems within their spheres. We developed these technological solutions based on the long-term trend of real-world assets. Not only us, but also major investment firms and government entities are increasingly announcing tokenization initiatives or opening funds related to tokenized assets. Each confirmation at every level validates the path we have chosen. In 2023, when we first discussed tokenized assets and invested in a project through our venture fund that deals with tokenization, diving deep into this market led to the birth of the RWA Bank and RWA Marketplace concepts. Interacting with new forms of ownership and transaction types inevitably leads to the formation of such ecosystems, such service areas, and opportunities where products and technological solutions can be created. Everything is moving towards familiar forms of ownership and transaction processes, transitioning into the digital sphere. As we like to say, they can now be executed with the press of a button, while preserving all legal guarantees for both clients and organizations. This digitization of familiar sectors is a natural progression. As an ecosystem and venture fund, we plan to expand and naturally create financially stable businesses. These businesses will enable us to move forward confidently, knowing that we are profitable and play a role in the market of modern neobanks and marketplaces with new assets. We are just at the beginning of this journey. We announced this at the end of the year and initiated several stages of financing for RWA projects, allowing anyone interested to participate. By the end of April, we've concluded this financing. Looking at the roadmaps for these projects, the bank and the marketplace, which we have published and are using to guide the development of these products. In the bank, for example, we've already launched the Deposits project, managing funds long-term as a step towards liquidity accumulation. Additionally, within the bank, a technological service in the form of a wallet has been launched, which will soon evolve into an application either on Telegram or on familiar platforms. Essentially, it will become a single point of entry, a convenient window where you can access current DigiU ecosystem services and future services, such as managing your investment portfolio and obtaining various loan objects, credits, collateralized loans, including the issuance of virtual, anonymous, or named bank cards. All of this is envisioned and incorporated right from the start into such a simple and convenient form as a wallet. And it's already launched. And it's pleasing to note that since the launch of this application, over 5,000 people have opened this wallet for themselves. And the most pleasing thing is that they are using it and satisfied with its use. What's noteworthy about the wallet's development is its simplicity. I interacted with my 9-year-old son, telling him, "Here is a link, create yourself a wallet, and I will send you pocket money to this wallet from now on. You can use it to pay for your subscriptions, withdraw to bank cards." He enjoys playing online games. And essentially, you can pay for various in-game items related to online games. Why do I share this? And why is it seen as such an important element of our products? My 9-year-old son, who had never encountered cryptocurrencies or wallet services before, without asking any additional questions, created a wallet and received his first pocket money in the form of 20 USDT within 7 minutes. This is my personal example, my personal experience. And these 5,000 people who opened wallets in such a short time naturally confirm the correctness of the chosen path. Within the RWA bank ecosystem, which is innovative and already in demand now and in the future, we've launched several commercial products and are attracting our first thousands and tens of thousands of users. If you look at the roadmap, you will see the presence of smart contracts, a move towards decentralization, audits, the launch of the first loan protocols, and integration directly with the marketplace. It will be the point where users will demand credit and loan operations. The bank will be able to issue credits and collateralized loans using real estate and other tokenized assets. This mutually beneficial collaboration, which is a novelty in the digital part of the modern world, in the RWA world, is a commonplace story in our real world, where we currently use these familiar services. This simplicity and high guarantee of success in these products lie in taking proven models, adding high technologies and simplifying them both economically and from a user's perspective, interacting with these products. And it's not just us doing it, but also the largest players in this market. So, together with them, we are in this market and have high chances to take leading positions there. This is what the RWA project concept represents. If we look at two projects a bit more closely, slightly expand the roadmap, we will see the very beginnings of this system. We see that, for example, in the bank, there are numerous options. But where will it evolve to? This includes the payment system as a unifying factor between fiat and blockchain. Its virtual cards, the presence of an investment management fund, its own trust structures. As we have already mentioned, deposits to ensure long-term liquidity in the RWA bank, enabling customary loan and collateral operations, or credits, and so on. Compiling a reputation rating of bank users. So, all of this is part of the ecosystem, and it's inherently a commercial product. It earns through clear, familiar, innovative, and promising means. It's also worth noting insurance, both of banking products and of life, health, and all services existing in the external world. So, all of this is what needs to be added as products to our banking ecosystems, both to be launched and operated, well, essentially, under the brand or independently, and then subsequently integrating into one ecosystem. I am saying this so you understand about what the bank ecosystem represents, where it's heading, and where it currently stands. And as we love to do in our projects, we set real plans, a real roadmap. And for us, it's crucial to move forward with anticipation, which is, a confirmation of some expert evaluation. This is how we operated in the DigiU ecosystem, transitioning from stage to stage. And we do the same in all other projects we launch. Such a pleasant and interesting way of development for me, primarily. And obviously, it's the implementation of the principle of more action, less talk. If we look at the marketplace even more in the same format as the ecosystem, what does it represent? It's a structure that allows both individual users and organizations to interact with any type of tokenized assets, to enable them to tokenize. The first process, asset tokenization. The second process, legal protection of all types of activities. We choose legal models that currently enable successful real estate tokenization and tokenization of other types of real-world assets. This could be precious stones, precious metals, indices, movable property. So, everything that will appear, the end user, the ecosystem, will be able to tokenize and carry out transactions with these assets. What kind of transactions? Buy-sell transactions. Transactions related to temporary use of these assets, temporary ownership. These could be consulting services for tokenization and development. These could be educational programs or exchange operations. Well, of course, it's such a full integration of the marketplace with banking services. So, we are doing this to enhance everything. And now, having gone through this long journey from the idea that I voiced in Mumbai last August and spoke on the topic of banking sector development until the present moment, we find ourselves in Indonesia, in the country where we are launching the first part of our tokenized real estate marketplace, like the place where all the main factors contributing to a successful start. The first factor is limited demand for real estate. The second factor is high tourist flow. The third factor, which is high demand for real estate rental as well as for purchase. Indonesia's legislation is one of the most progressive countries in terms of cryptocurrency, technology, and the implementation of all these services into life. And we see, being at this point, that it's an ideal place to start, to make the technical launch of the marketplace, tokenized real estate, Apato. And actually, part of this forum was the direct collision of this product with the market. And it's worth noting that we've devoted quite a bit of attention to this process. Primarily, it was introductory work, mine and Alexander's. When we spent several months here, studying the market, establishing contacts, trying to conduct initial deals, telling the key players about the opportunities of tokenization, what it actually entails, how it increases the liquidity of the object, how it can increase the influx of users to their agency or to their under-construction objects, and how it generally affects industry development. Naturally, we encountered a considerable amount of misunderstanding, lack of demand on our path. But there are also those people who know how to look ahead and see the future, not just for a month, not just for a year, but for 3 to 5 years. Those who possess this long-term planning. At some point, I came up with a certain analogy when light bulbs were being introduced. It was a huge leap. Now, we cannot imagine our lives without electric light. When the internet and cars were being introduced, there were always those who didn't understand their purpose at both the corporate and user levels. And probably the simplest example of this misunderstanding is the largest corporations, such as Kodak. I think you remember, it was the leader with 90% of the market share of film cameras, films and everything else. Another example is Nokia, with 70% of the market share of phones and smartphones at that time. Where are those companies now? They are where those companies should be, which created their industry and stalled in their development. And when someone once came to them and talked about digital cameras, they either didn't listen, didn't see the prospects, or got scared. The same with Nokia. Touchscreen phones, the presence of touchscreens. It entered the scene too late and didn't provide enough user convenience. That's the ecosystem we are accustomed to. The fast internet application system. It killed all those companies. The same thing we are seeing now directly in real estate. Some see the potential. Some brush it off as annoying. I started with how we prepared. A lot of work studying the market. And the launch in principle is training, educating real estate specialists, developers, and everything else. So, we gathered the most interested, we held product presentations. We explained in sufficient detail and clarity about the trends and launched the marketplace. So, at this event, it was possible to buy and technically walk through the customer's path from choosing an object to acquiring the first token and in the nearest month receiving the first dividends. Well, it was all such a very interesting experience. First of all, we believe and we congratulate the Apato team, the entire DigiU ecosystem on a successful launch, on a technical start. We saw great interest, both from our audience and from the external audience. And many bought these tokens. And now they are checking, studying the market. And from the external audience as well. So, deals were made right at the forum. Well, now we see the first object exhibited. It's ready real estate, the first ready objects. Gradually, they are starting to sell. And in the near future, we see that it will be fully purchased and start generating rental income for its token holders, which was also a surprise for the entire market, and including for our ecosystem, which in general has long known about the tokenization of an object, that there is a secondary market where several objects have already been sold, totaling around $800,000, which are already bringing income to their owners for several months and about a year. None of the token holders, who have been using them for several months, are putting them up for sale. This is a clear indicator of long-term growth, both as a service and in this form of ownership. What else I would like to note, and what was definitely included in our roadmap? This is the tokenization of under-construction real estate, because it's a new, different form, a legal form of ownership and tokenization of objects. But at the same time, it's a familiar form for real estate in the real world. When you buy an under-construction object, you earn from the increase in value. You bought it at the project level, or at the foundation level, or at some other early stage. It's worth about $1,000 per square meter. And by the time it's completed, it's worth $3,000 per square meter. And by the time infrastructure development near the object occurs, the subway is built or the airport is constructed, solving a huge infrastructure problem. The price continues to rise. What I want to say is that these opportunities are already at the testing stage, and we understand how to do it. And within a month and a half, maybe closer to September, because there is increased attention to objects and increased attention to services in the summer. When everyone starts thinking about what to do by the end of the year after vacations. Accordingly, maybe closer to September, we will introduce such a form of tokenization, which will attract even more new clients. So, study while you have time now. In general, a huge amount of work has been done. And in the second part of this video, we will look at the numbers. We will look at what's next. Now, I pass the floor to the next speakers. You will see how the project manager, how the head of the venture fund, how our technical director talk about the directions that have been implemented over the past 6 months. We will pass the floor to Dmitry, the head of the tokenized real estate marketplace. Then Aidar, the project manager of Webwise Wallet and Webwise Pad. And actually, let's listen to the concept of the venture fund. And perhaps Alexander will be the most surprising person. Because what I've been telling you about now is the focus of my attention for the past 6 months. But Alexander's focus is much broader, and the ecosystem has expanded significantly thanks to the activities of the venture fund. Well, it's not surprising. After all, we are now at the stage of the venture fund, and we are here. And no less surprising will be Peter's presentation, with such a technical report on the topic of digital identity, the concept of interaction problem with the top players of this market, with giants, and how we can solve this issue, and why the digital identity within our ecosystem will also appear ahead of the roadmap. We can already forecast the year 2028-2029. All this lies ahead. Pay close attention to the speakers' presentations, and I will return to you immediately after them. Hello, I'm Dmitry, CEO of the Apato service. Apato helps clients invest in profitable real estate starting from $50 and earn rental income of up to 10% per year. Essentially, you own a share of the property and can sell it at any time. To facilitate the sale of property shares, we conduct tokenization of assets. This process consists of several stages. Firstly, we select a property that can yield the necessary returns. We verify its legal component and then register a legal entity in the United States. This entity issues tokens in the sufficient quantity to purchase the property. The token nominal is $50. Investors can then purchase tokens for the property and thereby become co-founders of this company. Once the required sum is raised, the legal entity acquires the property and hands it over to a management company, which handles tenant relations and pays us rental income minus fees. Next, we distribute the income among token holders. This is entirely passive income, because everything happens online. You buy tokens online, and the income is also distributed to your wallet within the personal account. On May 6th, we announced the start of sales at an event we held for real estate professionals in Bali. At this event, we received positive feedback and a significant amount of interest and questions from developers and real estate agents. In addition to the interest, within just 2 days, we sold 16% of the townhouse that was listed for sale. We started in Bali because we considered this market to be the most interesting. Rental prices increased by an average of 10% annually, and property prices also increased by at least 10%. Moreover, Bali is a tourist destination that was visited by 11 million people in 2023, ranking third in the world by this metric. In Apato's immediate plans is to launch the sale of shares in under-construction real estate. Such properties in Bali yield returns of up to 30% annually. We've already met with developers, visited construction sites, and had initial discussions with major developers with whom we plan to work. In the future, we plan to launch real estate sales in other countries. Our immediate plans are to sell over 30 properties totaling more than $7 million within 12 months. Invest and earn with Apato. Hello everyone, my name is Aidar Sabirov. I'm the head of Webwise Wallet and Webwise Pad Launchpad. Webwise Wallet is a multifunctional cryptocurrency wallet based on Telegram. It supports Bitcoin, Ethereum, Polygon, Binance Smart Chain, and Tron networks. With it, you can open a virtual dollar card in just 2 minutes and have the ability to fund it with cryptocurrency for payments for international services, travel, or work. Additionally, you can buy USDT within the wallet using fiat currencies. Inside the wallet, there is also a launchpad. With the launchpad, you can participate in private rounds of Web3 projects starting from $50. The wallet was launched on March 20 of this year. As of today, we have over 5,000 users. The wallet supports 7 languages. Webwise Wallet serves as the gateway to products such as virtual cards and the launchpad. As mentioned earlier, you can open a virtual card in just 2 minutes. It's anonymous and allows you to easily pay for any international services. The Launchpad allows you to participate in private rounds of Web3 projects. The Launchpad doesn't have its own token. To participate, it's sufficient to hold USDT in your wallet balance and subscribe to the sale you are interested in. To date, we've conducted 3 successful sales totaling $155,000. Over 600 users participated in the sales. Projects such as Lina Finance, CrossCurve by Ava, and AlphaMind have conducted sales. The Launchpad's business model consists of 2 components. First is earnings from commissions. Second is publishing at a price higher than the allocation received, thanks to our venture fund. For now, we've conducted 3 sales totaling $155,000 and earned 23,750 rubles in commissions. Our near-term plans target an increase in the number of users, 70,000 wallet users and over 2,000 participants in Launchpad sales. Based on these figures, we aim to conduct 4 sales per month, each totaling $200,000. This amounts to a total turnover of $800,000. Assuming a 25% commission, this results in $200,000 in commission earnings. Multiplying this by 12 months, we get $2,400,000. Our business model has proven itself, and we plan to scale it up. And for this, we will soon rebrand. We will add a referral program. We will introduce a points and reputation system, allowing participants to receive better offers and more favorable conditions. We will also enable the addition of our virtual cards to Apple Pay and Google Pay. Within the wallet, there will also be a swap feature, allowing you to exchange USDT from one network to another. Next, we plan to add the Tron network. We will conduct training sessions. There will be private groups for participants. There will be a system where participants can decide which projects we will select for the Launchpad. We have a large roadmap, big plans. There will be training sessions, private groups for participants. There will also be an opportunity to vote for the selection of projects to be listed on our platform. If you haven't already, I recommend registering via the link, participating in upcoming sales on our launchpad, and also taking advantage of the opportunity to open virtual cards. All the best! See you at the new sales and in the launchpad community. Hello friends, my name is Peter and I'm the Chief Technology Officer of the DigiU ecosystem. Today, I will tell you about the main technological stages of our ecosystem's development, covering the past, present, and of course, the future. The first stage of the DigiU technological system began around 2019 and lasted for about 2 years. The concept of DigiU is to create a digital identity. That's where we started and systematically progressed towards realizing this digital identity. We began with artificial intelligence and encountered 3 major technological challenges. First, the technology was either absent or not ready for commercial applicability. Second, there was the lack of an information and economic environment where digital identities could interact. Essentially, there was no society for these subjects. And third, there were already huge technological giants, making it unclear how to compete with them. At the very least, it was very difficult. During this phase, we implemented several technical prototypes, such as DigiU Voice and DigiU Vision. We obtained several patents. However, we didn't see the opportunity for broad market entry with these solutions. This became a sort of logical conclusion to the first technological stage. At that time, we already realized that artificial intelligence was advancing alongside a powerful technology, blockchain. We hypothesized that the technological environment for the existence of digital identities could be created based on blockchain. This idea became the basis for initially implementing a project like Ava. By now, it can be affirmed that Ava has exceeded the original idea and has also become a full-fledged technological platform within the blockchain ecosystem, where virtual identities can exist and where there are already examples of their existence. Therefore, the second stage of DigiU's technological development was focused on blockchain technologies. We faced the same 3 challenges: the lack of technologies, the absence of a platform or environment, and the presence of these huge technological giants. By that time, there were already unicorns in this industry, meaning projects with a valuation of over $1 billion. It was evident that more of them would emerge at an increasing pace. I can now affirm that all 3 problems have been successfully solved. I will briefly explain how each problem was addressed and then show examples and facts to demonstrate why I claim that the task has indeed been solved. First, in terms of technology, when we entered the blockchain space with the idea of Ava, we already had several years of experience in developing blockchain technologies. We understood that the maturity of the market our understanding of blockchain, our technical expertise, and our team were capable of independently realizing world-class technologies. This was our strong foundational hypothesis. Consequently, on the technological front, we considered this hypothesis confirmed. We were able to create our own world-class technology. Next, at the Tier 1 level, in the existing blockchain technology of AVA with its data transfer protocol, liquidity transfer, and connection capabilities, multiple blockchains are already functioning as one. It has been recognized by many market players. This technology allowed us to subsequently create a full-fledged technological platform, AVA. Moving on to the social or environmental perspective, blockchain has become an environment where digital identities can coexist, exchange money and resources broadly. The problem of blockchain fragmentation, which is the existence of a large number of diverse blockchains, has always existed. And AVA, by its nature, unifies all blockchains into a whole, thus forming this environment. By realizing AVA, we prepared this technology for the development of digital identities and formed a unified blockchain society for the existence of these identities in this environment. And the third challenge, which undoubtedly caused us great concern and presented us with a rather complex task, was the battle with technological giants. Through our activities, we've interacted with most of the top global projects in our field and related areas. Knowing the market's leading players and having some form of communication with them. At some point, we realized that fighting technological giants was pointless and harmful. In reality, any technological commercial war leads to no good. It doesn't lead to sustainable technological development or the success of all market participants. We understood that instead of engaging in war, we needed to cooperate and collaborate with everyone. Specifically, regarding the AVA project, it's like a technological platform aiming to become a unicorn. We needed to rely on those who were already these giants, these unicorns. Within the AVA ecosystem, two products emerged. Not so long ago, relative to the entire development of AVA as a project, CrossCurve was introduced. In CrossCurve, the main technological partner giant is Curve, the largest index and stablecoin activity at the moment. CrossCurve allowed us to solve the liquidity problem, becoming one of the technological giants, one of the pillars, I would say, of the technological giant we've aligned with. And the second powerful lever was bridges, with which we made an agreement, essentially introducing a new product, a consensus bridge, into the AVA ecosystem. Thus, in fact, we reconciled two branches of technological giants, those dealing with liquidity and those dealing with data transfer between blockchains and transactions. It is precisely on the basis of this cooperation, on their shoulders, that we ultimately created the AVA ecosystem, with two main products addressing all needs, CrossCurve and the consensus bridge. So, why can I claim that all of this, everything I'm telling you, has indeed been successful? It's confirmed by numerous facts, such as the agreements signed with these technological giants, including on close technological partnerships. You can see this on social media, on Twitter, using retweets, and so on. For example, the first place at the Blockchain Week, at one of the largest blockchain exhibitions.
Furthermore, with this first place, our business developers will go to the USA, to Dim Draper. It's also supported by the statistics of Ava product usage. A few days ago, I saw that since January, we've crossed the threshold, according to Ava, of $200 million and are approaching 150,000 transactions. Already, we can assert that Ava as a product has succeeded and is confidently heading towards becoming a unicorn. This essentially concludes the present and phase 2 of the technological development of the DigiU ecosystem. So what do we plan? What awaits us next? Clearly, the third phase of technological development of the DigiU ecosystem begins, namely, a return to the roots, to the AI direction. And now, we see and feel within ourselves the strength to realize the digital identity in the way it was originally planned in the DigiU concept. Let me briefly explain why I think so. Firstly, over the past period, while we were forming the blockchain ecosystem, technologies have significantly advanced. Adoption and the use of technologies by society have greatly increased. Here, as an example, you can probably best see for yourself how many applications are now on your phone. And the phone itself uses artificial intelligence. Most likely, at this point, you already have dozens of these applications on your phone. There is technological readiness, and I consider it entirely justified that we didn't invent our own technologies here. Because, as practice has shown in recent years, it took tens of millions of dollars to bring technologies, in particular, let's say ChatGPT-4, to their current state. At the current moment, hundreds of millions of dollars have already been invested in these initiatives, not by the DigiU ecosystem, but by those technological giants. So, we consider that our first barrier, in terms of technology, has already been overcome, and we can move forward. From a society perspective, as I mentioned earlier, we can now fully rely on Ava as a platform where both real and virtual entities can coexist, interact, exchange information, money, store data, and so on. The question of technological giants remains. Here, in my view, the most interesting part lies ahead. I believe that engaging with the key players in the market, reaching out to the top technological companies, funds, and various influencers in this field awaits us. However, this technology has already been tested and tried by us, and I am confident that we can address the issue not through conflict or war, but through coexistence and collaboration. Ultimately, only positive feedback from our interactions will result. Thus, we are now entering the third phase of the development of digital identity, which involves filling the society we've created with these digital entities. At the same time, it's important to understand that currently a fourth technological phase is starting. One could even argue that we are approaching the threshold of DigiU 2.0 in terms of technology. Let me explain what I mean. Some time ago, we predicted, and it's becoming increasingly evident, that artificial intelligence and blockchain will merge. For instance, at the recent Vietnam exhibition in Vietnam, Vitalik Buterin spoke about incorporating elements of artificial intelligence into blockchain and the desirability of this. On the other hand, in blockchain, including products like Cross-Curve, we see the merging of the traditional financial system and the new blockchain-based financial system. Another super trend is visible, namely AR technology, or augmented reality. This technology involves representing real-world objects in virtuality on the blockchain, or more broadly, in the digital or virtual space. In general, we see a very clear and largely inevitable trend called singularity. This involves merging virtual reality with our everyday life. At some point, and this moment will not occur with the press of a button, but rather gradually, invisibly, but inevitably. None of us will be able to say whether we exist in the real world or in the virtual one. Let me give you an example. On my phone, and probably on yours too, there are thousands of Telegram channels. How many bots are there? Probably dozens, I assume. How do you perceive these bots now? As your conversation partners, your assistants, or what? As digital identities? Can they be called identities, even though they sell you goods and services? They can accept money from you and give you money in another form. A very simple example. If we talk about Bali and owning villas in Bali, tomorrow I'm going to gift my son a couple of villa tokens in Bali. Does this mean he owns the villa? Not entirely, but effectively, yes. Why? Because he will receive income from his tokens for 20 years. He can sell these tokens if he wants to. Or he might save up and buy all the villa tokens, and then he can come and live in that villa. Can we say where the line is drawn between virtuality and reality? Can we say that this villa doesn't exist? Of course not. It exists in both worlds, in the real and the virtual. And I believe that humanity's next move, and that of DigiU, as its main part, will be towards singularity. The only thing that can stop us on this path is the question of energy, which I mentioned in one of my speeches. But I think we'll talk about that in the next episode. Thank you, friends. It was a pleasure to talk to you and to share with you both the development of DigiU and the prospects that await us. See you soon in reality and virtuality. Hello friends, my name is Alexander E. I'm the managing partner of the Webwise Ventures venture fund. Today, I would like to talk about what has been already accomplished, the path we have taken, where we currently stand, and where we are heading in the near future. I will discuss our upcoming plans and the opportunities that are currently opening up for us. As a venture fund, we started investing relatively recently. Before that, we invested and engaged in deals either as business angels or together with investment pools. Some deals were gathered and we participated with small amounts. And for us, it was an entry into the market. We learned who plays and by what rules, how the venture capital market is structured. We learned about pools, syndicates, venture funds, venture studios, funds of funds, various accelerators, and so on. Now, we understand this market from the inside. We communicate with hundreds of players in this market. We exchange contacts, deals, and discuss joint projects. Now, I will briefly talk about the path we have completed. As I mentioned earlier, we invested as co-investors with pools and realized that these are mostly newcomers to the market. Then, we began to acquaint ourselves with more serious players, other venture funds. The Ava project is one of the most serious projects at the moment, which has grown in our accelerator and incubator, in which we initially invested ourselves. Thanks to this project, we've gained a vast network in this field. We know many projects, exchanges, market makers, venture funds, and so on. And in fact, we've already invested in a number of deals. Those who follow us know that we recently launched our launchpad, which has already started to earn its first money. And it's clear how to scale and monetize it. We are currently in Bali. Just days ago, we officially launched our tokenized real estate marketplace, where absolutely anyone can start investing in real estate from $50. And it will have legal significance, providing returns. I recommend paying attention to this project. Two models can be highlighted on how to profit from venture capital. The first is to invest in projects that will generate profits and receive dividends. The second model is to profit from capitalization growth. That is, the value of the company and the project increases, and then sell your stake at a much higher price. Essentially, we invest in both types of project models. For example, the launchpad and the tokenized real estate marketplace are projects that exemplify the first type. We understand how to profit, how to generate income, and how to derive dividends from them. There is another part of the portfolio where we invest as a fund of funds, either as a venture fund or as a venture studio, where we want to both earn and see significant project capitalization growth. How does our fund work now? What are we doing now? Right now, we are in the process of formalizing our fund's legal structuring. It will be a company in the United States, where the fund will have no more than 100 investors. How will it work? Or what is the fund's investment memorandum? In other words, the rules of the game that the fund has defined for itself. A certain strategy of how it plans to earn in the near future. Part of the capital will be invested as a fund of funds. What does this mean? We are investors in other funds that either have more expertise in certain areas or have access to deals that we currently don't have access to. Because we realize that we are a relatively young fund. We don't yet have a name in the market, but we are already communicating with players who allow us, by investing in them, to enter the top deals where the largest, most serious venture firms in the world invest. In our portfolio, there are already a number of such deals where we co-invest with top players. So there is nowhere higher. This is the Premier League. The second part, we invest as a venture fund. That is, we directly invest in projects, select them, and sometimes we receive dozens of projects in a day, especially during major conferences. There are sometimes dozens of projects in a week, and we try to exchange, so that not all projects come to us. We try to exchange with other players, so that they say, we want to invest in this deal. We've conducted our analysis, evaluated the team, checked various legal documents, we are ready. We understand that someone has already conducted the initial screening. This also simplifies our lives. And vice versa, the same thing. We tell someone that we want to invest here, and they also consider whether they want to join us or not. So, the second part of our portfolio is deals where we will enter directly, and we already do. The third part is the venture studio plus accelerator, The brightest example of how this works is our project Ava.5, or Cross-Curve by Ava, which is now entering the Tier 1 segment, becoming a very serious project with serious partnerships. Serious international funds are investing there, and this project was born in our accelerator. We created it. We were the first investor, and we were very involved in helping the project get to where it is now. And the fourth part is the so-called OTC market. These are over-the-counter deals, where we can buy someone's share. If someone wants to exit a deal early, for example, we can buy their share. Or if we believe that the project's tokens are undervalued, they are already out, the project already exists, then we can buy part of these tokens from the market and hold them for a long time. So this is how our venture fund plans to develop. Speaking of the future, soon we plan to structure our fund in the USA. At the moment, this is probably the most elite jurisdiction for registering a venture fund. We plan to do it there. The minimum investment check for our fund is $100,000. But how do funds work? What is a venture fund anyway? Essentially, it's a kind of pool, right? And this is how you can buy some real estate with the help of a tokenized real estate marketplace, in parts, shares. And by pooling resources, you can purchase this property and profit from it. A fund, essentially, is the same thing. That is, when someone creates a fund for $1 billion, for example, Sequoia Capital or A16Z, it means that, for example, 100 investors, either individual or legal entities, pulled together, say, $10 million each. Thus, a fund is formed. There is a fund manager. In our case, it's me, in the case of our fund. And essentially, they manage it, oversee the portfolio, and take a portion of the profits. Smaller funds, for example, we plan to create a $20 million fund in the near future. So our check starts from $100,000 and on average, probably $200,000 to $250,000 will be invested. Essentially, 100 individuals or 100 companies who pull together $200,000 each. Thus, a fund of $20 million is formed. This is how it works and operates worldwide. That is, a fund is not some structure where money just lies around, where money seemingly appears out of nowhere. Typically, these are syndicates that are simply legally registered as funds. This doesn't mean that at any given moment all the money is in the fund. That is not how it works. So if it's announced that a fund of $1 billion has been created, it doesn't mean that $1 billion is in the accounts of that fund. That is not how it works. For example, a fund is created for 4 years. Investors must contribute money for approximately the first 2 years, every quarter with a certain amount. In our case, we divide it into 4 payments when we accept funds. Because for some time, the fund will gradually enter into deals, create its venture portfolio. We plan that we will invest in a minimum of 50 deals, and by our calculations, in 4 years, we will achieve very good results. And the portfolio will exceed the initial amount several times over. Through what? Because we focus on the Web3 and blockchain segment, which is currently growing very rapidly. And we are currently in the growth phase of the market. We also focus on artificial intelligence, which is also developing at a tremendous speed. We have vast expertise in this area. We have a huge network in these markets. And as one of my friends said, what is venture business? It's legalized insider trading. To some extent, we consider that we have it. Because when we communicate with numerous projects, each project tells us what they are planning to do, what mistakes they have made. They talk about competitors, their next steps, who they are negotiating with. So, we begin to learn everything about this market. And from here, it is so much easier for us to draw conclusions. To know in advance about some upcoming partnerships, mergers, acquisitions, and so on. So this is where the professionalism of a venture fund lies. In being able to use information properly, to select projects properly, to choose teams properly. Because venture business is primarily about investing in teams, not even in technology, but in people capable of realizing the ideas they have. Thus, we provide people with the opportunity to invest in venture business together with us, starting from just $100,000. And you don't even have to have the full amount at once. That's the first thing. And the second important point is that by joining us now, people will soon receive an investment in the entire portfolio that we have been building over the past year. And this portfolio has already grown by more than double, according to estimates. Yes, you cannot withdraw them immediately, but in the value of the companies that are already in the venture funds portfolio, it will already be twice as much. Essentially, follow our news. We aim for our venture fund to become more popular, more well-known, and more respected in the global market. You can participate in this, and of course, support the products that our venture fund invests in. You can contribute simply by becoming a customer of this product, by recommending it to someone. The larger the audience of the product, and the more feedback there is from customers, suggesting improvements and changes, the faster they will develop, the more valuable they will become, the more they will earn. And from this, everyone wins. You, us, absolutely all investors and projects in our ecosystem. Thank you. What we've just heard is incredibly inspiring. The prospects of the venture fund, the technical solutions related to artificial intelligence, blockchain, digital identity, the goals, indicators, results of specific business projects, their plans for profit extraction, business model scaling, collaborations among each other, the user base, and the market capture plans. It's all so significant. Most importantly, the results we are witnessing are the culmination of immense work by a very serious team we've managed to assemble over these 4.5 years. The infrastructure we built, the community we formed, which serves as the initial audience for launching our projects. It's all incredibly important. These are the goals and solutions we laid out at the start of our ecosystem, applying crowdfunding and crowd investing models, which entail a large community, a large number of people. All of this is yielding results here and now. And it's very, very cool. Let's look at the numbers, which everyone loves. And these numbers directly reflect and document this activity. Numbers never lie. Let's see. Over 4.5 years, we've had over 18,000 investors. I believe we will reach 20,000 by the end of the sale. And that will be such a pleasant figure. We have over 160,000 registered users. Perhaps we will exceed 200,000. And this is only within the DigiU ecosystem, not to mention other ecosystem products we've launched, to which people have joined, and so forth. The audience is immense. We proudly mention that from the first year, we've paid dividends and demonstrated our business acumen. We've done this 6 times. and around $340,000 has been paid out by us. This is a fact. Let's look at the figures related to the number of shares sold. Around 4.3 billion shares have been sold, amounting to nearly $12 million, of which about 33% went to partner rewards, rightfully earned. Partners from 184 countries have earned over $4 million with us, bringing with them users, significant connections, and knowledge of our products, which they represent in their countries. This is incredibly cool and highly valued both within our ecosystem and in the external world when we talk about the infrastructure we've built, the community we formed, and how we turned this foundation into commercial products, technological solutions, as we ascend to the highest league of venture funds. Because this is the logical and most correct form of development. Otherwise, IT projects, startups, and businesses in general don't progress and don't reach leading positions. The level of venture funds is the structures that create the future in which we, as people, will live now and in the years to come. And it will continue indefinitely. These are the structures that dictate and create the future. Look at the figure for installment agreements made. We now have contracts totaling $3.5 million, which will be paid after the sale of shares is completed. June 30 is the day when you cannot enter into a new contract. However, all installment agreements you've made will remain valid, and you will be able to pay them according to the schedule. We strongly recommend you adhere to these schedules, because if you breach your schedule after June 30, you will lose your bonuses, which may constitute a significant portion of the shares you hold. After June 30, bonuses cannot be restored, nor can installment agreements. So, take this responsibility seriously. This is my personal recommendation for preserving your portfolio. So, $3.5 million is tied up in installment agreements, and we expect these funds to come in. However, again, we are people who look at numbers. According to our company statistics, 56% of installment agreements are not paid. So, this amount can be safely halved. These are the funds that will flow into the ecosystem and that we will use for the further development of the company. As for the part that perhaps no one has seen yet, on which we haven't focused our attention yet, we've repeatedly said that this year is a year of quantum growth, that we are taking so many actions and they are yielding so much result, naturally, based on the work already done. That is breathtaking. I talked about a large number of events. Let's see what this is, how it's expressed, what it's expressed in. Besides events we attend, let's look at the indicators of commercial products and compare it with the time frame we are currently in. So, we started our commercial activity with the DigiU Wealth project, a decentralized financial asset management fund, in 2020. This was our first commercial product, our pride, which allowed us to pay dividends from the first year of operation and instilled confidence in our investors and actually built our reputation. So, this was the first product. Then Ava came, the venture fund, then the first investments of the venture fund. And what can be seen? That now, within our ecosystem, either created by us or joined through the venture fund, we have 16 commercial projects we can already talk about, and about 5 more projects that are either planned by us for independent launch, and we talked about this today, or they will join our ecosystem through the venture fund, having gone through all the necessary checks, due diligence, the investment committee, and so on. But already now we can say it has essentially happened. That in the 6 months of 2024, during this short period, the number of commercial products in the ecosystem has increased by 220% and continues to grow. This is what I congratulate everyone on. What is a huge reason for pride for the team, for pride for the venture fund. This is a cool result, and we are entering the second stage, which is called the venture fund. There will be more such projects. There will be around 30, maybe more. All of this increases the chances of success and the business success of the venture fund. More deals, more projects equals more chances of a unicorn appearing. With more than 30 projects, the chance is close to 90%. And even one unicorn in the fund's portfolio always means capital and profit increase, specifically upon exit, by 3 to 4 times. In general, this is a big reason for pride and allows us to look ahead with confidence. I congratulate you with this. Now, let's talk about the things that will specifically await us in 2024. The first, most important date that we will forever fix in the history of the DigiU ecosystem is June 30, 2024. The day when you will be able to take the final package, the last package. Perhaps, even among those who will be the last, we will give away some memorable prizes. This idea came to me just now, as we record this video, because the person who will enter history as the one who takes the last package, I think should be rewarded, and at least acknowledged by us. So, we are concluding the sale of shares. You won't be able to get a new package. Installments will be paid according to the schedule. This is done to form the final list of all our investors, all future shareholders. Those who pass KYC, those who will actually become full-fledged owners of the DigiU ecosystem and all its products. And we are doing this to determine the final number of shares that can be maximally sold. That is, the maximum number of shares that we will see in executed contracts or purchased at the moment. All of this will allow us to proceed to the official evaluation, the official reorganization of the company. I will remind those who've been with us for a long time, or speak for the first time to those who've just joined us. So, about 1.5 to 2 years ago, we started the company evaluation process. We conducted a huge amount of legal research, meetings, and consultations. All this is done to form the correct legal structure of the company, which will protect the interest of the company, protect the interest of shareholders, and allow steps for further development to be taken. I will remind you, we have 2 options for further development that we will probably use in combination. These are development options like a closed dividend company, with a closed list of shareholders, with regular dividend payments, with the possibility of selling within the company. So it's a clear business model, a clear model of a large corporation. We are also interested in the possibility, we are laying the possibility of going public with an IPO if necessary. That is, an open company, a public company. All this requires the correct legal structure, the correct number of shareholders, the correct number of shares issued, and of course, the correct evaluation. If you look at the number of shares now, it's 200 billion, which is not the most adequate amount for further development. Company valuation. If you multiply 2 figures, for example, the selling price, at which we offer both buying and selling, and the number of shares, you will see billion-dollar figures. We've talked about this for a long time, even when we launched the X11 procedures, that the importance of adequate valuation in the future is maximum. Accordingly, we continue, and we talked about the fact that we will continue to bring the company to an adequate valuation. Actually, this is done now in 2 ways. The reorganization process as a legal form, and the process of burning unclaimed shares, well, and accordingly, bringing the valuation to a corresponding condition. What tools have we already used for this? This is the process of recalculating shares, reducing the cost, more precisely, reducing the selling price. But since the completion, this will no longer be relevant. It will be an irrelevant indicator. Therefore, it's important for us to consider the interest of all parties, the interest of both the company and the shareholders. Let's talk more specifically. So, now we see that we have 200 billion shares. 10 billion of them are shares allocated to the crowd investing stage, of which a little more than 2% have been bought out. This is the situation at the moment. What do we want to achieve by the end of the sale of shares in July? To reduce the total number of shares to 100 billion. This is such a first test period. That is, a test process of burning shares. We reduce the total issues to 100 billion. These are legal procedures. They require a certain amount of time. And of course, we will tell you everything. But in July, this will happen. What does this entail for existing shareholders who will join us? It automatically increases the percentage of ownership of the company. That's the first. The second point is the process of bringing the valuation to an adequate condition. As I already said, yes, now we see that it's inadequate. We understand that our company is probably close to $1 billion. Maybe a little more, maybe a little less. But this is a process that we'll carry out during this year. We strive to become a company this year with a capitalization between $600 million to $1 billion. To try officially, according to all the laws of the existing markets, venture funds, everything else, to touch this so-called unicorn. We are launching this process right now. What does all this give you? And first of all, the company. Legal stability, security. And I think that somewhere in September, when we complete all the procedures related to the initial burning, file the necessary applications to start all official assessments and everything else, we will choose the jurisdiction that will take into account the interest of the company's future development. Because having the right jurisdiction and the influence of the world processes that you've all seen and that are happening now is very important. And we must take into account the interest of international shareholders and offer them the most accurate jurisdiction, taking into account the future development strategy. This, as I said, is a dividend company, or public, and better both. Because in the modern world, you need to be as flexible as possible and consider other opportunities that may arise for us. So, we choose the most reliable jurisdictions. We will share this information when we have a clear understanding of where exactly this will happen. From the perspective of the shareholder registry, you undergo KYC, and soon it will be available for all countries. And you will have about 6 months to pass KYC, provide the necessary documents, and we will form the final list of shareholders. So, we will transfer it to the new jurisdiction, to the new company, complying with all legal procedures, guarantees, and protecting you as shareholders of the company. We see several processes: the assessment process, the organization process, the burning process, the share recalculation process. I touched on the topic of the procedure that we conducted several years ago. This is the X11 procedure, which allowed us to compensate early investors for the decrease in cost that we experienced. But considering that the price indicator itself will no longer be relevant after the completion of sales, we will have a company valuation indicator, and based on these values, we will conduct share recalculations, naturally towards portfolio expansion and accruals. And we strive to achieve a balance by the end of the share sale, which we declared back in 2019, that we allocate 10% to crowdfunding, crowd investing. And if you look at these proportions, you will see that there will be only 100 billion shares in July. And when we close crowdfunding, we will determine the number of shares that will be sold by that time. And all unclaimed shares, based on the proportion to 10%, will be reassigned. And we see that the number of shares distributed may be close to 5 to 6 billion, and so on, in order to account for these quantities. Of course, all this information in the format of one video is complex and may not be understandable to everyone. But those who have been following us for a long time, I think you understand what I am talking about. And you are really excited now, right? Accordingly, after this video, there will be a post with conditions that can help you understand. So, we'll act as we always do. Full disclosure, answering questions, and we clearly ensure that our audience always understands what the company is doing, and not only understands but also contributes to it. We always have such close communication with you. And such meetings, webinars, and videos are the key to such successful partnership. So, a similar procedure to X11, when recalculations and supplements will occur to compensate for the difference in valuation with the purchase price which you entered, to account for all bonus shares, to account for all contracts with installment payments. So, it's such a huge computational work that we'll carry out after completion, when the last contract is formalized, or the last package is bought. And, as I said in the middle of the video, perhaps we'll acknowledge this person. This will definitely enter history. After we form the registry, we will start the process of recalculation. And somewhere probably in mid-July, we will present the format of recalculation and all the figures, all the parameters, according to which it will take place. And we will talk even more deeply about the evaluation and future events. What needs to be noted now? These are 3 key dates when snapshots will be taken. What is this done for? At the beginning of this video, I talked about 3 important audiences of our investors that we have. These are those who have been with us from day one and have joined us for a long time. These are those who have been with us since this year, and those who will join during May and during July. These are the people who are equally important to us. The first group is the people who have contributed, thanks to whom we passed the first stage, thanks to whom we launched the ecosystem and achieved the results we have now. These are the people with whom we entered the venture stage. In the second stage, the stage of the venture fund, those who participated there saw all the ecosystem events and always supported us. This is a very important part of our audience, which made a huge contribution. Now we see new clients who are no less important. Those people who joined. I'm talking about new ones or those who buy installments. There are investors who make payments during this year. And recalling the schedule, looking at the growth chart of commercial projects, at the plans that we announced today, the results we showed today, we see that these are no less important. Enterage contracts that will be paid out during years 24-25, even if we maintain the same conversion rate, let's say 50%, will not be paid, which I doubt. It will most likely increase. This will allow us to ensure the necessary funding to launch the projects that we designated as RWA Bank ecosystem and complete the venture fund stage. What is the feature? Why do we need to reach this? Because at the end of the venture fund stage, we will start receiving profits from venture deals, the first exits and the possibility of profit, the possibility of colossal profit. So, our ecosystem needs to provide insurance, a financial safety net, which, in the form of formalized installments, will finance us until the end of 2025. I remind you that the maximum term is 15 months. From July, the last contract can be paid for another 15 months. So it's exactly the time that's enough to achieve all the goals and to complete the venture fund stage and make a profit. We are already generating profits from commercial products. So, we are ensuring that from a financial standpoint, the ecosystem feels protected, maximally secured, and achieves the set goals at the right time with maximum speed. So, the first audience, our initial investors from 2019. The second audience, investors from 2024. And the third audience, those new individuals, the very first ones who will join from May 1st, who are starting to join now and will appear in the 2-month period before the sales end. These are new people, precisely those investors who will take the final installments and so on. This is not about new clients, not about those people who are encountering us for the first time, but about purchases. So, you can be our long-term investor. Having bought a package, for example, of 1,000 shares at the beginning of 2019, you can now increase it or make a decision about some long-term further investment, for example, in installments. On these 3 dates, 3 snapshots will be taken, during which the shares in your personal accounts will be fixed at that moment. So, how many did you have? The first date is June 1. The second date is June 16. And accordingly, the third, final date is at the end of sales. After we determine all the amounts of redeemed shares, we will own all the figures, see everyone who participated in these 3 snapshots. And this is available to each of you to the maximum extent. Even if you invested in 2019, in 2021, 22, 23, this year and in the last months, you can always purchase a new package and participate, or pay off old ones and participate in all 3 snapshots. If so, you will get the maximum recalculation. And if you, for example, have been an investor since 2019, until 2024, you will also be extremely satisfied with the conditions offered within the recalculation. If you are an investor from 2024, you will also be extremely satisfied. So, before you now is the table with proportions of share distribution during the recalculation that will take place in July. And you see that the interests of each audience are taken into account. And we always stand guard, in fact, for the interest of our partners and always create conditions in which the ecosystem can win, thus stimulating you now to arrange a contract, to arrange another contract or increase in July. Because, as I said, we are interested in a financial safety net until the end of 2025, which will allow us with confidence, with a 99% guarantee, to implement all the planned strategies and achieve the results, the scales that we are talking about with you. Now, the heads of the project, the founders of the ecosystem have spoken to you. You've seen many frames of those events that we held in Indonesia. We shared with you these impressive figures, the number of projects, the impressive number of plans, business models. This is all very important and interesting, and we are telling you about this for the first time. I recommend watching this video several times. Right after this video, there will be a post with explanation. Of course, throughout May, we will return to this topic many more times and answer a large number of questions. Don't worry, don't rush, we will explain everything. And in fact, you will be able to comfortably make a decision to increase your package or take some new installment and so on. Thank you for being with us all these years. And I remind you that the company is ready. And thanks to you, our professionalism, we are ready to move to a new level of development and achieve the goals that we have outlined with you. As I finish our today's video, I say goodbye to you. Once again, thank you. Take care of yourself and see you soon. See you at the next webinars. And if you are interested, this is already my personal request at the end of this video. Leave comments. Tell us from which year you are in the ecosystem, how you came to us, what you saw, what you came with us for. Maybe sometime we helped someone to get involved, to acquire a new profession, or learn about cryptocurrencies, or something else. We are very interested in all this. I strongly encourage you to share this in chats, in comments. Tag us, tag me, and at the moment of watching this video, of course in the live stream, we will be in the chats, and we will read these comments and your wishes with great warmth, and we will respond to them. Thank you. That's my personal request. I hope you understand why this is so important personally for me and for the entire ecosystem. All the best. Goodbye.